Bam. All right. So I just want to talk about getting airballed. Not like the romantic kind, what it actually means, like when you just try and shoot your shot and whoosh, and you miss entirely. I mean, I couldn't talk about that. I'm phenomenal at spitting game, quite frankly, and so I don't relate to peons or peasants that have issues with that kind of stuff. What I'm talking about is making a joke and none of your friends laugh. Now, this is the worst thing in the world, and I never really did it recently, or before recently, because it wasn't a thing before recently. There was no, when you tell a joke, people are trying to airball you to make you feel bad. It was, you tell a joke, maybe so it's not that funny, but still, people still giggle a bit. They still let out a pity laugh just to make you not feel bad. But, right, I went to Belize recently. I went to Belize, and someone, I made a joke. I walked into the room. I was nervous. We all have those days. You're nervous. You're just not on your A game. And I did 3 air balls back to back to back. The feeling you get from that is worse than being put in the timeout corner as a kid. When your parents would say, "You've done something bad, it's time to go to the timeout corner," and you're on the verge of crying. You're almost bawling your eyes out. That's nothing compared to airballing 3 times in a row. But luckily we were fine after that. It was funny, and I've brought it up again, so that's fine. But oh my god, this was literally people I did not know that well. Like, I knew one of them. We were rooming together, and I had one mutual. I've heard of them. We have mutuals, so we had high expectations. And then I airballed 3 times in a row, but it was okay because I made 2 banger jokes, and I also threw my hat like a frisbee really well, and they were like, "Whoa!" So that makes up for it. But airballing does not feel good. And, I thought it was funny to use on my friends because it makes me feel bad. So then, duh, I should use it on my closest friends to make them feel bad. Because if it's your closest friends, your goal is to make them miserable, I sound like a terrible person, but, you'll just know. But, so right, I take this home from Belize, this new knowledge, this new wisdom, my experiences gained, I'm a new person, and one of my friends says a joke that's not that funny, so then I just go dead silent, and I look at them, and I go, "Airball," and they look at me back. They felt the same shame that I felt after airballing in Belize. So, see, this is where I went wrong. I could have either, A, left airballing in Belize, not incorporated into my friend group, and been perfectly fine. There would be no more airballs. But no, I had to bring it back to one of my friends, and I decided, hey, let's make this a joke in the group. So now we can't have good times. We can't have fun. We can't have joy. Because there's always fear of being airballed. Even if the joke is phenomenal. Even if it's the funniest joke you have ever heard. Even better, even if Adam Sandler, the Sandman, the same guy dating all those hot girls in all the movies, wearing like basketball shorts that go down to his knees. That guy, the funniest guy most people know. Even if he was there and he makes a joke, amazing, one of his best jokes, everyone is gonna be dead silent, and after 5 seconds, you're gonna hear them. Airball. It's not even gonna be loud or excited. They're gonna be calm, they're gonna be serene, and they're gonna show no signs of whimsical joy. They are going to be dead-faced. No emotions. And in their head, they're thinking, they're thinking, I can't wait to airball this guy. And it's miserable. So how do you deal with getting this airball out of your group? Me personally, whenever I get airballed, so very infrequently because my jokes are that good, I say, think. Do you really want to create this toxic environment in which you cannot be joyous and you cannot express yourself as you have before? And I act like the bigger person, even though I brought airballing in. So even though this is all my fault, and it really would not have become a problem if I didn't bring it back and I just left it in Belize, I'm still gonna act like the bigger person. I'm gonna act like I had nothing to do with it. And I'm gonna look at my friends dead in their eyes, in their dead little eyes, dead in their dead little eyes, and I'm gonna go, you really want to create a toxic environment like this? And of course they're not going to want to. They're gonna want to joy. They're gonna want to laugh. They're gonna want to jive, you know? They're gonna want to be dancing around and having fun like friends do. They're gonna want to play 2-player Poop Tycoon and, I don't know, have fun. They're gonna want to play Bed Wars and be able to smile and make jokes instead of fearing the tyrannical law and rule of Airball. They don't want to be under that administration. They don't want to be fearful of the divine strike coming down at any moment, at any attempt to have fun. They want freedom. So that's why I'm acting like the bigger person, you know? Even though this is all my fault, it's not really my fault because I'm acting like the bigger person. And the best part is, if I'm acting like the bigger person and not airballing because, you know, we want to be joyous, I'm still going to airball people. So, even though I'm trying to stop the airballing that is happening, I'm going to shame others for doing it. And the best part about hypocrisy is you're not a hypocrite if you recognize that you're a hypocrite. Because then it's just ironic. Huh? I might be a wise guy. I might be a genius. Either way, that's all. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.